Good evening, thanks for joining. Welcome to this very quiet corner of Fragcom. This is a very quiet corner because I very rarely get time to film anything. And I'm finding it harder and harder to sit down and really talk about fragrances. I think it takes a lot of mental energy. Often how things smell to me is really not how other people perceive the fragrances. I've noticed that quite a lot. I'll be talking about a fragrance and then I'll talk to some friends in Fragcom and often they'll just sort of see it or smell it from such a different angle. But I suppose it's all subjective, it's all relevant as well. We all smell things differently. And I'm rambling on one here. It's so hot today. We're going through, I think a lot of people are going through a heat wave, but it's a heat wave here in the UK. I'm not a lover of the hot weather. I find it very claustrophobic. And because of that, I think fragrance is just an additional annoyance, really. And when it's this hot, I don't think a fragrance is the most important thing in the world. But saying that, I have been reaching for a few and I've been really enjoying a nice handful of fragrances that I think have held up really nicely and not bothered me at all. So let's just start off with my scent of the day. My scent of the day is a fragrance I don't wear very often at all, and that's purely because it falls into the sort of tropical fruity category, and I'm realising that I'm just not a tropical fruits centric kind of gal. But this one is, I think, much more fruity, tropical fruit centric. But despite that, it is a beautiful one. This is by the house of Centauri Perfumes. This one is Proxima. So this, of course, is the fragrance house created by the wonderful Peter Carter here on YouTube, who has the channel Fragrance View. Love the bottle. Woo! Proxima is one of the original 3 fragrances that Peter launched under his brand, and it was based around the future. There was a past, present, and a future. This one was based on the future. It was inspired by a future planet, landing on a future planet. The image of paradise and fruits and a planet that's untouched by man. So it was everything that's beautiful and fresh. Proxima is very much a tropical fruit kind of scent. I'm fashionably unprepared as always and have no notes to hand. I always remember the fact that there's strawberry and grapefruit. For me, it's like a fuzzy pink peach or a passion fruit or guava. I get that feeling. I could definitely pick out the grapefruit when I'm looking for it, but the amalgamation of all the fruits all smushed together gives me this sort of tropical, unusual tropical fruit, like something that you haven't discovered yet. And it's sort of fleshy, pinky peachy coloured, and dense and succulent and lovely. There is a freshness to it. It's a nice tropical scent for the evening as well, because there is a sort of, I won't say heavy, but there's a concentrated feel. There's a lot of substance in it and it does smell kind of niche. Really beautiful one, and I really enjoyed wearing it today. That is Proxima by Centauri. So another fragrance I've been absolutely loving lately, and I wore it throughout spring, and I find myself still reaching for it now that it's summer. Can't get enough of this fragrance. This is Lucky. This is Lucky, and this is Lily of the Valley, and I'm having such a moment with Lily of the Valley at the moment. Can't get enough of it. I found myself wanting to grow them. I wish I'd started it at the beginning of the year. It's too late in the season now, but I'm obsessed with this little white bellflower. It's fresh, it's green smelling, it's not too heavy, it's very clean, it's very kind of traditional, maybe even slightly old-fashioned flower, but I think in here at least it's very fresh. It's much more modern. There's nothing vintagey smelling at all. Doesn't smell too soapy, and it doesn't smell too green either. It's definitely clean. It's a clean, dewy, watery, beautiful Lily of the Valley fragrance. Uncomplicated. There's no other notes that are trying to compete here. This is the star of the show, is Lily of the Valley. But like I say, it's just clean and modern and refreshing and kind of ethereal. It has this sort of magical green garden simplicity about it, and it's beautiful for a heat wave like today. It's a springy sort of fragrance, but because it's splashy and watery and zingy, I'm thinking of bouging out and getting the shower gel, which is really expensive, but I love this scent so much. I want to enhance it more with, you know, other products. So I'm thinking of getting the shower gel, but we'll see. But that is the very beautiful Lucky from Maison Dior. So another exception to the rule of having a fruity centric fragrance and one that I'm really enjoying. I enjoy layering it. Whoops. I think it layers really, really well. By Atelier Cologne. This is Love Osmanthus. This one is actually such a fresh, easy to wear, refreshing Osmanthus fragrance. It kind of falls under the same scent profile as Proxima. They smell the same colour, pinky orange. She has far more personality. This is much more simple. This is more of a splash on fruity fragrance, but the Osmanthus is meant to smell quite kind of apricotty. It kind of smells like a fleshy pink orange, a watery fleshy pink orange, but with some petals thrown in, like some I wouldn't even say Osmanthus, I'm thinking actually chrysanthemum petals thrown in there as well. This is really weird. I fancied an Atelier Cologne. I fancied one of their these fresher sort of style from the line. I fancied one of them, and I've smelt a few now. But I had my eye on this one, and I like Osmanthus. I've got the Ormond Jane Osmanthus. That one comes off more balmy and waxy, and it's a little heavier. But I wanted a sort of splash on fresh version of that. So obviously this is the one that stood out to me. And I love how it actually carries itself through the day. It doesn't disappear. It seems to keep this really beautiful scent that it has. Starts off much more constant, like a concentrated fruit juice. But once you've got past that initial spray, it sort of just has this lovely, light, really dewy kind of feel all through the day. And it really does wear well, considering it's only, was it a cologne? Is it a cologne concentration? I guess it must be. But it wears really well. It's really beautiful, and I'm just really enjoying it. And I find it's lovely to layer anything with. Again, it's refreshing, it's fruity, but I do get a hint of some sort of a flower petal in this. So I guess that is the Osmanthus as well. It's just a beautiful, easy to reach for, fruity, florally, splash on, delicious, quite thirst quenching kind of a scent. So I'm really enjoying that one. So that is Love Osmanthus by Atelier Cologne. So I know I've got a habit of mostly talking about niche and indie. I do have a lovely handful of affordable designer fragrances that I really enjoy, and one of them here, I think I got this 2 years ago. This one has stood the test, even though it's just an easy, cheap, easy grab and go. I always come to this one and always think to myself, no, this is really lovely. It still smells beautiful, it still smells fresh and easy and right up my street. Just get into it. It's by Dolce and Gabbana. It's part of this collection with the little heads, little flower heads, which I think are absolutely adorable. There's all different ones. This was my favourite. This is Peony, and I do remember there is peony in this. There's also plum. It's light, slightly sweet, slightly green, pretty. There's nothing heavy in here whatsoever. It's so beautiful. I love that it's dewy. It's watery. You do get the plum. It's like a watery plum. Not that much peony. I smell florals, but I wouldn't pick out peony. They smell fresh garden flowers, but definitely more on the green, dewy side. And there's a lovely sweetness, which I think is from the plum. I just sprayed it again. It's as fruity as it is floral. It's just bright and bouncy, fruity, floral, easy, sweet. It's a really, really good scent. Love that one. It's no de parfum, but doesn't really last very long, if I'm honest. It really doesn't. You've got to spritz that throughout the day. But it's still very enjoyable. So that is Peony by Dolce & Gabbana. So this next fragrance kind of sticks out like a sore thumb compared to everything here, because it's not fruity and juicy and vibrant in a refreshing kind of way, but it's still one I've been really enjoying despite it being so hot outside, and it's the fragrance that's kind of represents me going in a new direction that I have been lately with all my chypres. It's one I'm very lucky to get hold of. It turns out it's a unicorn for a lot of people. I didn't even know this. This is actually by Maison Francis Cojan. It's a fragrance that's been discontinued, and I've fallen in love with it since it's been discontinued, which is obviously always the way, but I'm really excited that I got it. This is called Lumiere Noir Femme. And I had a sample of this for quite a long time, and I just didn't really give it a proper wear. I think my nose has definitely changed an awful lot. So I came back to this and I wore it, and I got past the initial, this kind of cat pee initial blast in the beginning, which I think, well, I say cat pee, it's just very sharp. It's woody and sharp. but it is beautiful. It wears beautifully, and it's quite citric, even though there's no citrus isn't listed, at least not on Fragrantica. It's patchouli, it's rose. I didn't read that there's any oak moss in there, but it's a very sharp, vintagey smelling kind of chypre scent. But there is a citric, bright, sunny quality to this, which is lovely. And it doesn't go too heavy. It kind of mellows out and just stays this very classic, very classy, but elevated, sunny scent. I love it. I don't really get a lot of rose, and actually, if you want to go on Fragrantica, rose seems to be rose and patchouli are the main accords, which I don't think I get a lot of rose from it. I definitely think the patchouli's definitely there. What I get the most from this is narcissus. I think that's what's giving you that kind of pissy sort of smell. I think it can go a little bit indolic that way. But like I say, you move on from that initial blast and everything softens out. And it's just a really beautiful, classic, vintage kind of scent in that way. Just done nicely, done in that lovely Kurgan way that he has. This is just really beautiful, and it somehow manages to still be wearable during the very hot days that we've had. So yeah, really pleased to have that. Very lucky to have that, I think. So that is Maison Francis Kurgan Lumiere Noir pour Femme. I haven't talked about Angel that much on my channel, but lately I've been having a real obsession over Angel flankers. Never been a fan of the original EDP. There's just too much density and sickliness under the patchouli and praline, and I can't seem to work that one. It doesn't work for me anyway. But everything I've smelt so far, flanker wise, I've really enjoyed. And this one I bought blindly, and I really am obsessed with it. It's so addictive. This is Angel Nova, and when it came out, a lot of people were talking about it, comparing it to Delina, but saying it was Delina's ridiculously like radioactive synthetic sister, and that didn't appeal to me at all. I just kind of ignored it. And then I finally was feeling itchy about having an Angel flanker that was, you know, it smelled a bit like Delina, and I suddenly thought, why haven't I got this in my collection? So I blind bought it. This is I think it's only the 30ml. Yeah, it's a 30ml, so I didn't go crazy. Yes, it is very abrasive. It's very synthetic. It's very obnoxious. It's very sharp and edgy and in your face. But I love the scent profile regardless. It's synthetic lychee with all the edges unblended. Very much like the Star. It's like all these sharp edges of plasticky lychee. Almost metallic, actually. But I kind of love that about it, because not many fragrances seem to project on me. They always disappear, and this is one of the few that I actually get some sort of decent performance out of. And it's actually a lovely sillage, because you don't get all the edges and the heavy, nasty, you know, synthetics much in the sillage. I don't think you do anyway. I know Claire loves this one. If you haven't seen her reaction to it, check out Smurfygurly Angel Nova, because I knew she'd love this one, and it was a love at first sniff. So head over to her and see how she is with this one. It's not a sort of thing you normally wear in a heat wave, and I don't wear it during the day. This is a fragrance I crave as soon as I get home. I just want to spray it somewhere so I get wafts of it. Is it like Zelina? I guess there's an element. It's like in the most synthetic, raw form. You've got it in Nova, only it's like in your face and proper concentrated. It may be, I don't know, but I love Delina and I love this. So I think of Nova actually as my summer evening tropical fruity flower scent. So that's that's Nova, and I love that one. So next is a scent that I actually bought especially for this summer, and although it's not really a heat wave sort of scent, I did actually wear it yesterday and I really enjoyed it. It's not, I think it's a bit too heavy, a bit too musky heavy perhaps for a very hot day, but it is a beautiful scent for a summer's day, and it's by the house of Louis Vuitton from their their exclusive private range. This is Etoile Filante. I don't know how to pronounce that, but I'm just going with it in my Surrey accent. Etoile Filante. So this is a strawberry magnolia. I think there's Osmanthus in here as well. Musky fragrance. There's quite a heavy, fluffy musk in here, and I'm discovering that I'm really in the mood for musks, but musks can really bother me. I can't wear Narciso Rodriguez, I don't really feel quite nauseous. I'm funny with certain musks, but whatever musk is in this Louis Vuitton range, I seem to enjoy them. And with Etoile Filante, what you're getting is this kind of, it is synthetic strawberry at the beginning, but it's not a typical sweet candy, you know, that kind of strawberry. It's quite a nice, soft strawberry with a sort of green touch to it. It's quite nice in that way. I like that sort of an underripe strawberry. And you've got this magnolia, which is quite a creamy sort of flower. It's kind of a dense but creamy flower. And overall, I get this sort of sunny, floral, musky scent. And it's really, really lovely. Thinking there's going to be days where I'm sure this musk is going to bother me. It's not always going to be great, you know. I'm so funny with musks. And it is very fluffy. Buttery fluffy, if that makes sense. It definitely smells yellow. I could see some people seeing this scent as maybe a laundry sort of smell. It's not my usual style, this one, so I am enjoying it, having something a little bit different to pull for. And I do seem to be enjoying this kind of a musk at the moment. And like I say, it's sunny and fluffy and just clean and easy and lovely for a summer's day. So that is the Etoile Filante. So sticking with this kind of musky profile, the next one here I've been obsessed with since I had it this past week. Yeah, about a week, and it's all I want to reach for. I only got the bottle a few days ago, but revisiting my sample, I just went through my sample like there was no tomorrow, and I managed to get this bottle from eBay, and it came so fast. And I have not stopped wearing it. It's from the house of Byredo, and it's called Mojave Ghost. Mojave Ghost is a musky floral. I think it is one of the most popular ones from the house, aside from Bounty Freak. This I had a sample of, and I didn't think it was my style at all. I think I was expecting a much more violet, heavy scent. I got the sample based on it being violet, and actually the violet really isn't the note that sticks out to me. There's nothing that stands out too much at all. It's kind of nondescript in a way, but the scent profile it's creating is, I'm finding, very addictive. So you have got the violet in there. You've got a mix of florals. There's sandalwood, a light floral cloud just sitting around you, like hovering a little bit away from you, not heavy at all. It's like walking into this airy, elevated, dispersed cloud with just little touches of florals here and there, but only soft blues and purple kind of florals, nothing too heavy, nothing too sweet. And it's a creamy quality within it, tucked away somewhere, which is probably the sandalwood. But I'm loving the muskiness of this. It's so light and dispersed, almost like it's like a ghostly kind of a musk, and it's just very satisfying. I've noticed this gets compared to Daisy, Marc Jacobs Daisy, which I actually never really enjoyed the times I've sniffed it. Maybe now I probably would, but apparently it smells a lot like Daisy, only slightly more polished perhaps. Just very easy to keep spraying and spraying and spraying. It's just a beautiful, fluffy, airy cloud, ghostly cloud of musky florals. Absolutely love it. So that is that one. So I've got just two more that I want to feature. Two that I enjoy immensely of a summer's evening. One very affordable, one not so much. First one is the more expensive one. So I got myself a fragrance du bois. I decided to get this fragrance because I found this on a website and it was going so cheap. Well, not so cheap, it was still expensive. It was a heavy discount, and I figured this is worth the amount I spent on it. I don't think it's worth the full retail. The performance issues more than anything. I decided to buy a Santal Complet. I had a couple of samples of this actually. I really do love the scent of this. I really do love the scent. I don't remember all the notes in here, but we've got your sandalwood, you've got your coconut, you've got violet. I'm not a massive fan of coconut or sandalwood, and yet I love this scent, and it really does feature both of them. Very soft. It's very smooth, a little bit suave, kind of understated. It's really not a big bold scent to me anyway. there's a creaminess in here, which is definitely the wood. It's the sandalwood that's creamy. The coconut isn't. I don't like creamy, milky, typical coconut you get in the tropical kind of fragrances. I like the coconut flesh. I like the dry, fleshy part of the coconut as a scent because it's got a texture to it, and it's not lactonic, and it's slightly fresher somehow because of it. That's what is in here. It gives it a texture, and it gives the coconut a more kind of cleaner character. I'm not sure I'm making any sense with this. There's actually a dark quality. There's something a little bit deep. I don't want to say gothic. It has this quality that I find quite dark. Maybe even a hint of licorice. Yeah, I find it so unusual, so satisfying, and really addictive. Like really addictive. The actual projection, the performance is abysmal. Abysmal. And that is why I've never even pursued a bottle of this, because I would spray my little sample, and within an hour it's like, where the hell is the scent gone? This can only be worn on a really hot day, personally, on a hot summer's day for me, because otherwise it just disappears. On a hot day, it will linger for a lot longer, and I absolutely love smelling this on me. I feel so bougie taking this out of the box and spraying it on myself just to do the washing up. Why can't the washing up be a pleasurable bougie experience? The amount I paid for this, I'm okay with. And it's a shame that it is so bad in projection and in performance, but what I paid for it is good enough for me to have as my own personal bougie scent when I want to spray it for myself. The box is actually quite small, which I quite like. It's not some huge box that takes up loads of room. It's quite compact. And this is quite a nice, big, chunky, square glass bottle. Really chunky and heavy. And it kind of should live in its box. It's very Dracula-esque, isn't it? Really getting a lot of use out of it and a lot of love from it. So that is Santal Complet Fragrance du Bois. My last fragrance is kind of in the same kind of family-ish. It's sort of a dark coconut. A bit how I think of this one, as a dark coconut. It is affordable, which is always good, and it is by the house of Versace, and it's probably one of my favourite designer fragrances to date. Like I can't imagine not having this in my collection. Is Crystal Noir. This is the EDP. The EDP version is the one that I personally prefer. The EDT, I do think there's a difference. I'm just going to wipe it because it's just so fingerprinty. Whoops. I think the Eau de Toilette is fruitier, more tropical smelling, and more sort of day wear smelling. There is just a bit of difference for me. The EDP, I think, is beautifully spicy. It's more woody, it's more creamy, and more evening appropriate. Again, this is one of the few coconut fragrances that I really, really enjoy. And it is quite a creamy scent. I don't normally like creamy coconut. This is actually more creamy, but that's not coming. I don't think it's coming from the coconut. This creaminess is kind of more floral. I don't think it's the coconut that's bringing that, because the coconut is quite spicy. There's a lot of, I think there's cardamom in here. There's a lot of cardamom. I think there's gardenia in this, which is it's much more heady, isn't it? Like a heady, creamy white floral. But the overall character is a very sort of sexy, clean but tropical smelling coconut scent. I'm gonna spray it on me now actually, because I love this fragrance. I really do. It's perfect for now. This is exactly the sort of time I want to wear it, of a summer's evening. Yeah, I love the spice. You can really notice the cardamom in this, and it's fresh. It's sort of fresh and creamy at the same time. Such a well put together finished scent, this one. It's fantastic designer fragrance. It really is. A lot of that cardamom. It's really spicy, but it's so perfectly matched with this creamy quality, this coconut quality, and this floral, this beautiful gardenia. So that is Versace Crystal Noir, a warm, spicy, sexy, creamy coconut scent from Versace. And those are all the fragrances that I am tolerating, enjoying, and wearing throughout these very warm summer days. what fragrances are you tolerating in the extreme high heat? Do you have a favourite? Like, do you have a fail safe which gets you through every time that you always have in your collection? I'd love to know. Thanks so much for watching, guys. Take care as always. See you on the next one. Over and out.